Catching a cheater one fake bouquet of roses at a time. War of the Roses starts right now on KDWB.
I think we've had a couple of War of the Roses that involved camping and the great outdoors. I remember one, there was two women that were staying at a resort up in Duluth or somewhere like that. And then one of them disappeared from the hotel room and she caught her in the hot tub with another woman. Do you remember that one?
No, I feel like that might have been before my time.
It might have been, yeah. Now, this one is similar, but it involves the great outdoors. So let's find out what's going on with Karlyn. Hi, Karlyn.
Hey.
Was this just this past weekend?
Yeah, just this past weekend, and I'm not really sure what to do with it. So
Okay, so what happened?
So we went camping up in Afton with a group of friends, and so there were some couples and, just a few single girls by themselves and everything. And I wake up, I think, on Sunday morning, and my boyfriend's not in the tent with me. For a second, I was like, oh, well, maybe he's using the bathroom or whatever, so I go back to sleep, and I wake up a little while later, and he's not there. So I get up, and some people are also getting up, like making breakfast and stuff, and I ask them if he knows where they're at, and they haven't seen him. So I start looking for him, start calling, and then, all of a sudden he pops his head out of my friend Brooke's tent, which she had been there by himself. And, he's all groggy, and, he doesn't really seem like he knows what's going on, but yeah, he was just in her tent with her. And I should say he does sleepwalk from time to time, but, it would have been weird for him to, sleepwalk, open up our tent, close our tent, go do something, and then, climb into somebody else's tent.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a pretty extreme sleepwalking.
Now that you're explaining this and spelling it out, and I picture, okay, that he would get up and wander outside is one thing, but that he got up, wandered outside, showed up in Brooke's tent, zipped it shut. Brooke didn't seem to notice or mind that he came into the tent, and he never woke up through all of this, and then he blames it on sleepwalking. And she never woke up either. So, I'm just picturing a scene where you're all your friends are gathered around. Are they watching you? Did you confront him, or did you confront him later, or how did this go down when he stuck his head out of Brooke's tent?
I think at the time we were just laughing it off, and I don't know. I was thinking about it more later, and I tried to talk to him about it later, but he was still kind of laughing it off. But I don't know. It's just really weird to me.
Yeah.
We had 2 beers the night before.
Right. So it's not like he drunkenly crawled into a different tent when he got up to go to the bathroom or something. Man, I would be so in my head about that, and I would be analyzing everyone's interactions afterwards. I would see how my friends were acting. Because you said you went with a group of people, right?
Yeah.
If I got some weird vibe where they're oh, there he is again, hooking up with Brooke. Are there whispers? You know what I mean?
Well, you have a really good point, because I think in friend groups, it's very possible that there is somebody in the friend group who is sleeping with somebody else's boyfriend, girlfriend, partner, whatever, and they don't know it, but everybody else in the friend group knows, oh, yeah, Michelle is sleeping with, Bryce, and Michelle is, seeing Bob or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, okay. You didn't hear?
And I think mostly, I was embarrassed, he was embarrassed. I think we were trying to laugh it off, but it's just it was weird. And I feel like some people were feeling like it was weird too.
Do you think, though, that if we offer to send flowers, if he wins these flowers in this fake survey, that he would choose the girl that he hooked up with at Afton in her tent? I don't think that he would send flowers to her. I think he's going to send flowers to you, but we've been surprised before.
Also, is she more of your friend or a mutual friend? What's the situation there with your relationship with this girl?
It's a group of mostly my friends. So he kind of came into the friend group a few years ago.
Okay.
So yeah, it's just weird.
But he is sticking to his story a few days later that he was sleepwalking, and he doesn't know how he got in there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we can try to dig a little bit. We'll call him and say, hey, we're giving you a survey. And if you take the survey, we'll get you a dozen roses to send to anybody you want to. And then, you should be the logical answer. You're his girlfriend, so it should be you. But we'll see whether he sends them to Brooke or somebody else. Okay?
Okay.
Are they cheating? Let's find out. Part 2 of Wore the Roses starts right now on KDWB.
Here's the story. They went camping, I think, just last weekend at either, I don't remember, Taylor's Falls or Afton.
Afton, she said. Yeah.
So they go to Afton. They're with a group of other people, and it's kind of interesting little setup. And I'm picturing a campground with, this person's got just them, this person's got them and their partner, and this person. So she's in a tent with her partner, and she wakes up middle of the night, and he's not in the tent. She's like, oh, he's out peeing or whatever. And then she wakes up in the morning, and he's still not in the tent. Mm-hmm. And so she goes looking for him, and it sounds like she was kind of nervous, like, did he wander off? Is he okay? And so she's calling for him, like, hey, hello. And he pops his head out of a tent of someone else.
Yep.
So what's going on? Let's find out, because he had an excuse, though.
He did. He claimed that he was sleepwalking because he's known to sleepwalk.
But the deal is, would you sleepwalk and walk, go leave your tent, zip it back shut, go and unzip somebody else's tent, go and zip that shut, and then stay there until morning? So let's get to the bottom of this. We're going to call this guy and offer him roses if he takes this fake survey from his fake phone company and see who he sends the roses to. And we'll do it right now. Here comes the phone call on War of the Roses.
Okay, Jeff, thanks for doing that survey with me. Like I said, it was only going to take a few minutes. And now for taking the time to do that, I do have a dozen roses to send out to whoever you'd like. So what I need from you now is the name of who you want to send those to.
Okay. Karlyn, I guess.
Okay, awesome. I'll get those sent out to Karlyn. That's wonderful news. I'm sure she's going to love these.
I love how he's so committed, is so full of love. Mm-hmm. Karlyn, I guess.
Yeah.
Hey, here's where things get a little bit weird here, Jeff. You thought it was weird enough that you're getting free roses from your phone company. Well, that's not really happening. What we're really doing, we set a trap for you, and we are with KDWB Radio and the Dave Ryan Show, and your girlfriend Karlyn wanted us to set a trap to see who you would send roses to. Because she's listening right now, say hi, Karlyn.
You're so weird.
It is weird, yeah. No, I get it. It is weird. But you did say the right answer rather unenthusiastically. You did say, Karlyn, I guess. Was there somebody else you were thinking maybe would be a better choice?
Obviously not. No, who's sending out free roses?
Nobody. That's the thing. But hey...
Okay, go ahead.
Jeff, thanks for letting me explain, because the reason we wanted to call you is because Karlyn was telling us about your camping trip this weekend where you ended up in Brooke's tent. And she was like, okay, he said he was sleepwalking, but it just seemed kind of weird. And the entire world thinks that you were hooking up with Brooke in her tent and blaming it on sleepwalking. Is there any truth to that at all?
Was I wearing clothes when I left the tent? Yes or no?
Was he clothed at the time, Karlyn?
Yeah, wearing sweatpants and T-shirt.
Okay, but you could have thrown those on really quickly here.
Easily done that in the tent, or you might have just been sleeping in that anyways afterwards because, I don't know, it might have been cold that night.
But you say you were sleepwalking.
And it might be the fact that, I sleepwalk quite often.
Yeah, but I just feel like sleepwalking into someone's tent is not really feasible. I used to sleepwalk when I was a kid, and I would get up, I'd mutter some weird words to my mom who was sitting in the living room, and then I'd go back in my room and go back to sleep. That was always what happened. I just found myself back in my bed. Feels very strange that you somehow managed to open someone else's tent and lay next to someone and sleep in there for the rest of the night.
We're talking about a couple tents in a forest, not a different door in a home. It's a very different thing for your subconscious.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm sorry if my subconscious didn't know whose tent door I was opening.
I kind of believe him. I don't know anything about sleepwalking. But it sounds like he could have been.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. It's weird. It's suspicious. And, like, it was really kind of, like, off-putting.
I have a question. Why did Brooke not kick you out of her tent when you
good question.
crawled in there? That seems pretty fishy to me.
That's a good question.
That is a good question. I think Jenny kind of nailed it. It's like, okay, you've sleptwalked before, but you usually wake up after you've like gone somewhere, or do you go back to bed, or what do you do?
I think you do. You normally find your way back to bed. One time, though, I did wake up in the middle of sleepwalking because I was at my best friend Katie Jo's house. I sleptwalked into her brother's room, and her brother was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, is Katie Jo in here? Like, I woke up in that moment because it was strange to me. And then I realized what was happening. That I was sleepwalking, and then I went back into Katie's room. And so I don't know. Feels just so weird to me that he would sleepwalk into a tent and be just like in the tent.
It does. But you know what we could have like gotten a little bit more of is like, do they have any kind of like, not a history, but do you ever look at these two, like the other woman in the other tent by herself and your boyfriend and go, are you two like, do you got a thing for each other? Because I dated somebody one time and she had a thing for her girlfriend's husband. And, we went to dinner one time, and every time he would say something mildly funny, she would laugh and then talk about how sexy he was because he was a cop and he was very handsome. And I'm like, do you have a thing for him? And she's like, oh, no. But boy, did she just titter away whenever he'd say something mildly funny.
Yeah.
So we never got to that. What do you think on War of the Roses? Text messages. Dump his A. He is guilty. Another one says, who unzips their tent, zips it back up, walks out, and does the same thing somewhere else? Same. This is what I thought. Another text says, we had a friend drunk walk and sleep in another person's camper.
Gosh.
Drunk walking is so different, though. I feel like people drunkenly stumble into different places all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't you stumble into the wrong apartment, Jenny?
It's her favorite story to tell.
I have so many stories along those lines. So, yeah.
Another text at KDWB1. We always love to hear what you think after War of the Roses. He is so full of bull hunky and had a list of excuses ready. He definitely was like, he would not admit that he did anything wrong. Here's a text message that says, we tent all the time, and if it was just one person in the tent, there wouldn't be another sleeping bag, sleeping pad, etc. for this guy to sleep on. So we're supposed to believe he just slept on the ground the rest of the night uncomfortably. I think he crawled onto her sleeping pad and sleeping bag. Mm-hmm. That's what I think.
We do have someone on the phone if we want to talk to them about a situation where they sleptwalk.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Ruth is on the phone right now.
Hi, Ruth.
Hey, guys.
What's up, Ruth?
So I'm a sleepwalker, and a few times I have been physically woken up by my ex-husband in the shower. Like, the water did not wake me up.
Oh, my God. Like, you turned on the shower?
Yeah, I turned on the shower, and I was taking a shower, and he came in there, and he was like, what are you doing? And I was like, and I snapped out of it, and yeah.
Wow.
Were you shocked? Like, oh, my God, how did I get in here? Did it frighten you?
Well, yeah, but it's happened more than once. So, so I kind of relate to the guy but I still think he's lying.
Because it does seem,
but he's lying.
If there was no sexual connotation or scenario involved, and let's say that he went and slept under a tree, it'd be like, yeah, you believe him. But coincidentally, he went into a woman's tent and was there all night. Mm-hmm. I think he went in to hook up, fell asleep afterward, and she forgot to like nudge him and wake him up, and they both fell asleep. So we may never know the truth. A bunch more texts are coming in. Thank you, Ruth, by the way.
Yeah.
When I was 16, I was sleeping with my grandparents. I woke up in the morning, snuggled between my grandparents. When I was 16. This is not a 10-year-old or an 8-year-old. If you guys send the girl on TikTok that sleepwalks and moves things around her house and does so much in the night. She's left her house and bought brought a leash with her because she thinks she's walking her dog,
What?
but she's
gosh.
sleepwalking.
Here,
I'd be so scared to go to sleep at night if I was doing those things.
I like this text. My husband's aunt, when she was a child, sleptwalked out to their garage and got on a dirt bike to ride through the cornfields.
Wow.
What?
I don't know if I've ever told you guys this. When I was 4, maybe 5, I was at my grandma's and I sleptwalked into her refrigerator and peed in it.
What?
I guess I thought it was.
Refrigerator. Wow.
I guess I thought it was the bathroom. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, it's totally possible. I had a girlfriend that this is a long time ago. Her mom told me the story about how she sleptwalked and opened up a desk drawer and pooped in it.
Oh,
Jeez.
Yeah.
I have
thought
a
it was the toilet.
sleepwalking story too, but mine was a little bit more normal. I walked into our laundry room and peed in a bucket, at least in the laundry room. So I at least kind of peed in something that was like a toilet.
Yeah. I
You
peed on
just-
the lunch meat.
It's gross.
Ew.
But you rinse it off. You rinse it off, and you're fine.
Gross.
And then you eat a
Okay,
midnight
Dave.
snack. Make a sandwich.
It's
Ew.
pickle and pimento loaf. You don't throw out pickle and pimento loaf, you guys. Come on.
Ew.
If you just turn your radio on, we were talking to somebody who was suspicious. They went camping with their boyfriend, and their boyfriend disappeared in the middle of the night, appeared the next morning in another woman's tent, said that he sleptwalked into there. And we're like, well, do you believe? I mean, it's a coincidence. He didn't just sleepwalk. He sleptwalked into another woman's tent. She thinks they were hooking up. So people are telling us their sleepwalking stories. And here's one specifically to camping. I drunk walked into my sister's boyfriend's tent and then yelled at him for being in my tent. There's no way the other person sleeping didn't wake up if they were sleeping alone to begin with. That's something we hadn't thought of.
Yeah.
Why didn't the other woman wake up and say, bro?
Well, I did bring it up at the end of there. I did
Yeah, you're
say,
right.
what was the deal with Brooke? Like, why was she just okay with you sleeping in there? And he didn't have an answer for that.
There's a bunch of sleepwalking stories, so thank you. Here's one. My grandma sleptwalked 3 blocks carrying a lawn chair cushion with her, and the cops called my dad to come and get her.
Oh my gosh. And this other one that just came in and said, I hate that I believe him, but my husband is a sleepwalker and he has showered, gotten ready for the day, including shaving his face.
Oh.
So I kind of want to believe this guy.
That's amazing to me. I've never had an experience. I've never known anybody who sleptwalked. Although our next door neighbor, she sleptwalked and fell down the stairs and broke her leg, I want to say. Yeah, so.
not me.
All right. That is War of the Roses for this week. Thank you for listening on 101.3 KDWB.